Hello, and welcome back to the channel. If you are new, I am glad you're here. If you like all things thrifting, home decor, gardening, and DIY, you are in the right place, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you some of my recent secondhand, antique, thrifted decor finds. Some of them were actually handed down to us, and I really can't wait to show you my last piece, and I'm going to save it for last because it is epic, and I am so happy with it. I can't wait to show you. There's a little bit of a story behind it, and I've been leaving it empty so that I can show you before we fill it with things. So that might give you a little clue, but you're just gonna have to wait until the end because I have some other things I wanna share first. I love shopping for secondhand things. I love going to antique markets, thrift stores, shopping Facebook Marketplace, and I love to hoard those finds. I'm not as good as I would like to be about finding homes for them once I bring them home, but I feel like I've got a good eye. I know what I like, and then it takes me a long time to find the right spot for it. But when I spot things in stores and they're the right price, I love to grab them because, you know, we'll find a place eventually. The first thing I wanted to share was this gathering basket. I have been keeping my eye peeled for one of these for so long. If you don't know, we have a big raised bed garden and then like an in-ground garden filled with flowers and veggies, and I love having things like this to go collect things when we're making dinner or I just want to cut some flowers and make a few arrangements. And I spot this style of basket often, but they're usually pretty big, and I like this size because it's just, you know, enough that you can carry it by your side. It's not outrageous. We don't have anything super large that we're collecting, so we don't need a huge basket, and I have been leaving this out on the porch so that whenever I go outside I can grab my scissors, grab my basket, and just get what we need. So this has been really fun. I love the sort of light color of it, and in the winter, you know, I could fill it with some dried florals and use it as like a centerpiece on the dining room table, or I don't know, some other idea will come to me. But $7 for this, so I thought that was a really good find. Next up, I got this cute set of throw pillows. So this isn't something you find often, and I'm pretty sure these are not secondhand, at least they don't appear to be. But I loved the pattern on the pillow. The colors were really nice. I feel like it's a good transition from summer to fall with like the peachy pinks and the blues and sort of the rust color. And for the set of two, it was $26. So $26 for two, that's $13 a pillow. Even better, the pillowcases, don't mind all the dog hair, they've been sitting on the couch. The pillowcases are removable. So they've got a zipper sewn in. You can take them off to spot clean or wash, and I feel like for the insert and the cover, that's a pretty good price. The fabric on the front is nice and thick, and the back is just sort of like a basic like linen kind of fabric. I loved the tassels. They're just such a fun detail, and these can easily be used on sofas, chairs, beds, whatever. So I always love to move things around and can never make up my mind. So it's nice to have something with a blend of colors that can kind of work in different color palettes. This is something I have been looking for a long time, but it's actually harder to find than I was expecting for the right price, of course. So how cute is this little vintage rug? The reason I've been looking for a mini rug like this is for the dog bowls. So when I spotted this, it was totally rolled up, and I kind of saw like a little bit of the pattern, so I was like, you know what, I'll just unroll it and see what it looks like. And I will say the red is a little brighter than I would typically gravitate toward, but it's just such a beautiful pattern, and it was in like perfect condition. I have two really pretty like chinoiserie kind of dog bowls that I use for Piper's food and water. Junie eats out of one of those slow feed bowls, but I thought this would be perfect underneath her bowls. They both love to go swimming in their water bowls, so the floor is constantly covered in water, so this will help absorb it a little bit and keep things a bit tidier. Plus, who doesn't want like an elevated dog bowl setup? I mean, this is perfect. The best thing about it was that it was only $15. Granted, it is very small, but some of these nicer wool rugs, even at a smaller size, can be a little bit pricey and hard to find in good condition. So I feel like $15 for this was a great deal. If you have watched any of my thrift and decor videos, you know that we tend to have a theme of containers, and that theme continues today. I have some more baskets. So a friend and I checked out Deja Vu Furniture and More in Londonderry, New Hampshire, which is a huge secondhand store. They collect a ton of really large pieces. They have sculptural characters there that are like over 10 feet high. I have no idea where they come from, but it's a really cool place to walk around. They also do have smaller things like this. I think for the set of 3, I paid $6 if I remember correctly, something like that. They were very inexpensive. I don't know that these are secondhand per se. They have like tags on them, so they might have come from like a gift shop that was like offloading some of their inventory. But I did like the casual look of them. Like they're not perfectly shaped. They're all kind of a little bit different, but they feel like a set. Obviously they have the same like sort of weaving style. And I thought these would be nice to hang somewhere in the kitchen. Like originally I was thinking I could put them on the wall kind of like stacked like this and put garlic or onions or shallots or something like that in it. I still haven't quite decided where I want to put them. We don't have a ton of space on the wall, and I try not to put things in the walkway because I don't want people to bump it when they're walking down our narrow sort of like walkway in the kitchen. So these might actually end up in the laundry room, which is where one of my other pieces is that I will show you. If anyone has any other ideas that are not kitchen related, like what could you store in these little baskets? I'm sure there's a million ideas. I'm just totally blanking. But I got the set of 3 because I was like, I know I can do something with these. It will come to me eventually. So drop your ideas below. In the same area I found that set of 3 baskets, I also found this set of 2 that were like taller and skinnier and had these little loops on the back. I got these for like a floral arrangement on the door. So instead of a wreath, you could kind of hang this from a hook on your exterior door as long as it's covered, and then stuff some dried flowers in there or some greenery or something. Could be fall, winter, summer. I feel like this piece is really versatile, and I love just sort of the casualness. Again, not perfect, kind of like a little droopy when it hangs. This one's just been sitting on the front door forever, just unfilled because I don't currently have any dried flowers. But I will eventually. I gotta dry some of the hydrangeas from the garden in the front. And then this one, I think I'll hang on the side porch interior door, both of which are covered. The front has a covered porch, so they won't get like completely rained on. This one has been sitting outside for a bit, and it's like, I would say more firm. Like it's almost like it's, I don't know, dried out a bit in the sun, but I kind of like it. It's actually like toned the color down. It's kind of hard to see in the camera, but this one's just like a touch more greenish, and this one's really lightened up a bit. It's more sun washed, which I like, which is also funny because it's not even in the sun. So I don't know, either way, great pieces for, you know, hanging on the door. You could hang them on the wall inside as well. And for the set, it was $10. I did get another container, but I promise it's not a basket. It is a tin can. These are actually old Sap Buckets, and they're in pretty good condition. They were $8 each. I got 2 of them, and I found them at one of my go-tos, the Milford Market Antique Store in Milford, New Hampshire. I've really been inspired by like that sort of like mix and match kind of eclectic look of planters and sort of garden containers. And I thought these would be cute kind of in like a porch display mixed with other like terracotta or plastic pots that I have. And now that I'm thinking about it, I actually think having both of these filled with mums would be really cute for the fall, especially because I could just stick the plastic container that the mums come in inside of this, so we can kind of try to maintain the metal and not have it like rust, because that's the downside. I'm not sure how this would hold up if we just like filled it with soil. I think you would need to do some sort of like inside container to protect the metal. And I actually don't know what these are. If anyone knows what these Sap Buckets are made of, I don't know if it's like tin or, I have no idea. That seems like something that would be obvious, but let me know in the comments if you know what this is made out of. And if you've used these, how do you fill them with plants so that you can kind of keep the outside bucket intact? The next 2 pieces are things that were handed down to us. This first one is from Matt's Grammy. So she had this set of 4 beautiful hand-painted candlesticks. These were painted by Matt's great-great-great-grandmother. I think it's 3 greats. She was born in Ireland just because that's where her mother went into labor. They were from Scotland, and they eventually moved to the States, and it was a popular hobby at the time to paint china like this, and his Grammy had the 4 of these and passed them on to us, which I think is really cool. They're all a little bit different, but they like are a family, so they have this beautiful sage green and gold, and then this like pink and green kind of floral pattern painted on them. So I haven't decided where I'm going to put them yet, and I need to get candlesticks to put in them, but it is really nice to have something passed down like that. And I love the story behind it. His grandmother wrote us a letter explaining, which is the coolest thing ever. Like, not only do I love to buy secondhand things, but I love to know the stories behind them. Some things you find aren't super old, so there's not much of a story, but when you get something like that, it's really cool to be able to pass that along with the piece. All right, I'm all hunched over now because I'm trying to fit this and myself in the camera. So this piece is from Matt's mom. When they came to visit, she brought this along. It's a piece that his Grammy had gifted to his mom several Christmases ago, and I think we were there when she got it, and we both loved it. And when she was coming up to visit, she's like, hey, are you interested in that croquet set? And I was like, ooh, yes. So she's always had it on display, just kind of like opened like this. She had the top propped up. It's got this like beautiful old like lettering on the inside, which I think is so cool. And then it has a full set of all the pieces for croquet. So you can kind of, I think these just like kind of like tighten in. So they kind of look like this. I don't particularly like to display things just out because it just takes up space. But when she sent it, I immediately, I don't know why, but I immediately was like, oh, how cool would it be to like assemble all of this and then like hang these up on the wall in the 3-season porch. So we've kind of got a whole bunch of different windows, and then like in between the windows, we've got a piece of trim. And I thought it could be cool to kind of like hang these in there. I don't know, I haven't thought through it more than that. It just came to mind when she sent the picture of it. And I think we could easily like paint the stripes if we wanted to change the color up to match a little bit better. So I'll probably keep this stored for now until I really figure out what I want to do with it, but it's just really cool. Like all the balls are like old wooden balls. Oh, I think I was using the wrong post. These are the things that go in. Yeah, that makes more sense. Now it's actually tight and not spinning around. So I was thinking these could be hung on the wall. What do you guys think? Is that a good idea? You could probably still use it, but it's just a really pretty display piece. And it's extra special because I remember her having it on display in her house, and now we get to do something of our own with it. Okay, we have migrated into the laundry room because this is another recent find. This shelf I found on Facebook Marketplace. It was $75, and the reason I got it was, as you can see, to fill it with pantry items. So we have a very long, narrow kitchen, and even though we have a bunch of cabinet space, we don't have any dedicated pantry. So we have to use one of those cabinets, the long skinny one kind of next to the fridge, for all of our pantry stuff. And because of that, I can't tuck a lot of our larger items away, like the air fryer or the KitchenAid mixer. And that's always kind of driven me nuts. We just don't have a lot of counter space, so I hate using it up and keeping all that clutter on top. So we have the laundry room right off of the kitchen, and the door here opens in like this, but there's like a 9-inch gap behind the door. I love to use space cleverly, and you know, in a space like this where we don't have a ton of storage and we don't have lots of closets and we have narrow walkways, we have to be really, really creative with how we maximize our space. And I've been hunting for a cabinet that would fit behind this door, which is a little bit tricky because a lot of shelves are a little bit wider, like 10 or 12 inches or even more. So this one is only, I think it was 7 or 8 inches wide. And not only was it already painted, like she found this old cabinet, she sanded it down and painted it this warm gray, but it was the right depth. So because of that, I was able to move all of our pantry items in here, which at some point I might make like a cute little curtain for. It doesn't really bother me because most of the time the door is open like this. So you only kind of see half of it, and you have to be in the room to actually see it. But I think a little curtain could be fun to kind of like add some pattern and tuck it all away. And then I have space for all of my jars and my dad's honey up here, which I need to fill, and I would love to get a few more of these. These are all from IKEA, and I use them for like grains and nuts and things like that. But anyway, I digress. Really happy with this, and it fits beautifully behind the door. And for 75 bucks, I was like, that solves a problem that's been driving me crazy and also allowed me to kind of rearrange some things in the kitchen. So now in this corner, it's kind of dark, but I used to keep the KitchenAid mixer here and the air fryer in the corner, and it was just like so cluttered. And now, if you remember from one of my older thrift videos, we found this cute little spice cabinet, and I always wanted to use it for tea bags. So now I have space to actually put that on the counter. It's filled with some different tea bags, and then I've kind of stacked a couple of different cookbooks on both sides. So now it's just like a prettier corner to look at, and everything's pushed back a little bit further, so we've got some usable counter space in the front. And now in this cabinet where we used to keep all the food, I'm able to use these bottom two slide out drawers to store the air fryer and mixer. So now those are off the counter, but they're super accessible, easy to grab, and we still have space for additional pantry items in the top two shelves there. So, problem solved. I have saved the best for last. So, quick story, and then I will show you. I have always been looking for more storage for this house. As I've mentioned, we're in an old house, we don't have a ton of closets, so we have to be creative about how we store things and tuck stuff away. And for a while I've had this beautiful buffet table in the sitting room, which we had a couple of lamps on. We've used to have the record player on top of it, then we put a TV on top of it, and I always loved that piece, but this is like the one wall in our house that doesn't have a window or a door on it. So it's a great opportunity to maximize vertical space for storage. So I've always kept my eyes out for pieces, cabinets, hutches, things like that. But kind of like behind the door in the laundry room, the space isn't super deep, and if I get something that was too deep, it blocks the walkway. So I always had to kind of keep that narrow space in mind. I was scrolling through Facebook Marketplace, scrolling, and I saw this beautiful cabinet pop up. I'll show you a picture. Right? Like, just gorgeous. And it was listed for $300, which is not that bad for that size piece. But I always like to test the limits. So I reached out and I was like, hello, would you be willing to do $200? And the lady, she took some time getting back to me, but it turns out they were renovating their house. So obviously she was a bit busy navigating that. They were trying to clear things out so that they could have space to do the renovation. So that's why she was trying to get rid of this piece. So before she kind of responded to that price question, she asked do we have a truck? Do we have a way to get it? And I was like, we've got a truck, we've got straps, we've got a dolly, we've got everything we need to move it. We are armed and ready to go. And she was like, well, it pains me to get rid of it for less than $300, but if you can get it today or tomorrow, that's fine. So, lesson learned, pays to be prepared. If you find something that you love, be ready to go. Be responsive, be clear about your plan. And, I was willing to be flexible, but I think the fact that she had had a couple of bad experiences trying to get rid of other pieces and people weren't prepared to pick them up, so then she had to start all over and find someone else. I think the fact that we had a plan, she was like, okay, I know you're gonna be here, I know you're ready to go, and you're gonna be able to get this out of there very quickly. So I sent Matt on his way after work. We had help from a friend, which was amazing, and I'm so grateful for. They picked it up, they put it in the truck, and now it is in our home, and it's meant to be here. It was meant to be here, so I'll show you. Okay, I gotta back up so you can see it better. Okay, how bourgeois is this? I mean, I'm speechless. I'm still speechless. I walk past this regularly and sometimes I just stop and stare at it. I just love it. So a couple of things that stood out to me. One, I love the window panes because it matches so many things in our house, including all of the windows here. These are original windows, and they have those window panes. And I just love that it ties into that. I love the dark wood. It's very pretty. Obviously it would be beautiful painted. It could be beautiful at light color, but I actually don't mind the dark wood. I think it works well and it doesn't compete with the floor because it's so different, The other cool thing is that there are two sets of doors. So they have these upper doors like so, oops. And there's a couple shelves in there. And then there's a lower set of doors as well. If I can. And there are a couple shelves down there. So I like that it's split because it's not this giant door that you have to open. When I initially saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, that'd be amazing if those shelves come out. I could put the TV in there, we could sew some curtains just like we did in the office and add a little texture and pattern and put them on the inside of the glass. It will be beautiful. However, the shelves do not come out and I could not possibly cut out a shelf to make room for the TV because that would be a crime. So we have to think of another solution for the TV. So anyway, that's the piece. I'm obsessed. Let me know what you guys think. $200, you guys. This thing is almost 7 feet tall. It's 5 feet wide. And best of all, I totally forgot. Do you see how it just aligns perfectly with that door frame? So the buffet table actually came out a little bit further, so you kind of had to walk around it, which was a bit annoying, but not terrible. But this fits perfectly in this little bump out that we have. So now it actually makes the room feel a bit bigger because you don't have that extra hump. I'm so happy. I still love it. I'm just gonna sit here and stare at it. So that's all for today's haul, hoard, not sure what you call it. We'll call it a haul. But let me know if you have any great ideas for how I could use some of this stuff. Let me know if you have any favorites. If you liked the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, click the bell notification so you don't miss out on what's next. Share it with a friend if you think it's something they would like, and I will catch up with you in the next video.